So the Angels, as is well documented, the Angels and Cheap Trick friendship goes back a long way.
Yes, it does.
1980. So a different question for you, John. Being a Beatles fan, you must love some of Cheap Trick's vast body of work. Very Beatle influenced their sound.
Great band. They're a great band. And
phenomenal.
And they're good guys. And, we became friends with those guys in 1980, particularly Rick Nielsen, because we'd played in Detroit with them, then drove into Chicago, checked into the Holiday Inn Lakeside, and the roadies parked the truck, and then the next morning went to get the truck, and there was no truck. And, we lost all our wonderful guitars, my gold top Les Paul. I still miss that guitar 35 years later.
Where did you purchase that? Can I ask? Where did you get that Les Paul?
Where did I get it? In Adelaide. Right.
So you'd had it since the early days.
Yeah, I've used that guitar to record face-to-face, no exit, dark room.
And it got pinched. That was one which got pinched. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they took everything. They took we had a PA in the truck and guitars and amps and the whole lot were gone. So
must have been devastating to lose that.
It was really devastating, but it was really heartening because Rick Nielsen heard about it on the radio, and he lives in Rockford, Illinois, which is about 70 miles. I always thought it was 120, but I was wrong. It's 70 miles from Chicago, and he just chucked some guitars in the boot of his car and drove into the Park West Club that we were playing that night. We had a sellout crowd. And, we were kind of going, well, what are we going to do? And he just turned up all these guitars, and another band loaned us amps and drums and stuff. So it was great. He loaned us, I ended up buying one of the guitars from him, but he just said, here guys, help yourselves and use them for the rest of your tour.
Great.
It was lovely. It was lovely. No, and then we toured England and France together. Co-headlined in France, so that was a big deal for us because we had a hit in France with my song, Take Me Away to Marseille.
There are lots of great stories in the book surrounding the first American tour, in particular connecting with Cheap Trick, a band who helped you out now and again, and a friendship that has endured. How important was the band's relationship with Cheap Trick?
Oh, I mean, at the time, initially, it was just like meeting any other band. We'd worked with a lot of bands by then, the ones you've mentioned, AC/DC, Cold Chisel, Midnight Oil, the Divinals, Icehouse, which were Flowers back when they were supporting us. And Cheap Trick was another great rock band that in a different country. But we liked them straight away as people and as a band. And then it was only later when we lost that truck in Chicago, got stolen, and Rick Nielsen jumped in the car with a bootload of guitars and turned up at the sound check, opened his boot and said, here you go, take what you need for the tour. So it was pretty amazing. We connected with them again, a couple of times. We did the Beyond Salvation tour and had them supporting us. That was a great tour. And then again, only a couple of years ago, we did Day on the Green tour with them, and we properly reconnected with Cheap Trick in Christchurch, where they took us all to dinner. We had a real chance to catch up